The headlines: Sandals reports excellent first year, outperforming the market. Childcare Board executive insists it's doing a good job despite public attacks. And QCN Foundation will contest the schoolgirls volleyball final. Welcome to Nation News for Thursday, January the 28th, 2016. Sandals Barbados has been celebrating the first anniversary of its full opening with a boast that many properties can only dream of. General Manager Ferry Finger is reporting that the hotel had recorded sustained occupancy in the 90s throughout. He said the excellent performance was thanks to the work of the resort's 500-plus employees. Mr. Finger was speaking following a Kadooment-style revelry party at the Dover property to mark the first anniversary.
It has been a very successful year. The first quarter for 2016 continues to be strong. February is going to be even more occupied, higher occupancies than in January, which is almost impossible. January we closed on average 95% occupancy, and February is even a little bit higher than that. So, and we're doing all we can to make sure that the resort delivers, and on all the expectations.
Liat has announced it will remove the fuel surcharge on new tickets booked from March the 1st. This follows a 50% reduction at the beginning of last year. CEO David Evans noted that oil is now trading at a 12-year low, ending a decade of high jet fuel costs, which had driven up the price of tickets. Mr. Evans said he expected fares to fall by an average of 5%. After a rough year of public criticism, the Childcare Board has received a robust defense from its deputy director. Denise Nurse says the board is doing a very good job. It was accused last year of not doing enough to protect children following the suspicious deaths of two, in particular those of 6-year-old Jehan King, whose death remains under police investigation, and 12-year-old Shamar Weeks, the St. Lucie boy who was found hanging at home. But Ms. Nurse said given the nature of its work, the organization can't divulge clients' affairs to the public and will have to take the criticism. A clear suggestion that she believes that those delivering the verbal licks don't have all the facts.
I appreciate the nature of our job is one where we are confidential. We just cannot go to the public and spill people's information. It's not fair to the clients, and so we have to take our licks, and we take them very well because we are aware that we are here for the clients, and we move on.
Editor of the guide, Shelley Ross, said many parents don't have the necessary skills to bring up their children.
When we look at the crime situation in Barbados, we look at, according to a lot of people, what we're hearing, the morals have gone down. We have to look and realize, when we look at the crime situation in Barbados, we look at, according to a lot of people, what we're hearing, the morals have gone down. We have to look and realize that it's not going to be death penalty that will solve it. It's not going to be putting more laws in place. It's basically parenting that's going to solve it. And how are we going to get parents to solve this unless we help parents to understand their role as parents, tell them to understand they're not alone in what they're doing, and that every child in this country has a right.
Professor Sir Frank Aline has criticized what he says is divisiveness among departments at the university. In a message delivered on Wednesday night at the opening of the 40th anniversary conference of the Faculty of Social Sciences, Sir Frank said that departments had become too insular, and he warned that if the division continues, each department will have to weather problems by itself.
If the departments decide that they are islands within themselves, when the crisis comes, they have to take it by yourself. Remember that the sum of the group, the four groups, is greater than the four individual groups taken separately. This unity in strength once you have a positive purpose. So I urge you, forget the rivalry between departments, who's better than who. concentrate on building strength in academia, in social sciences, concentrate on building bonds with the people who support us in society, and remember that money can't buy everything.
Republic Bank Chief Executive Ian D'Souza says lack of succession planning is one of the major threats to the survival of family businesses. He told the bank-sponsored breakfast seminar that the situation becomes so dire in some instances that businesses are wrecked while others develop delinquent credit and the economic value is destroyed. He said such issues can cause major division in some families and proper planning is key to preventing them.
Those of you in here who may have inherited a business from your parents, or those of you who would have started a business, you would have created an enterprise, a vehicle that will create economic value, or is supposed to create economic value for future generations. I tell you, it will not do that efficiently unless you plan properly for the succession, for the passage of ownership in an organized manner.
Youth Minister Stephen Lashley says more attention needs to be paid to the safety of young people in the workplace. Addressing a health and safety expo, he said that globally, workplace injuries are higher among younger workers.
In light of these considerations, I believe that the most important challenge for us is to translate our knowledge that we have into legislation and into corrective action where that action is required. So there is going to be a need for us to move from good intentions and good ideas to protecting the health and safety of our young people. We also have to be proactive and ensure that regulations, once put in place, are implemented, and where there are gaps in regulation, that those gaps are very quickly plugged.
After months and months of speculation, Rihanna's long-awaited 8th studio album, Auntie, is out, and so far it has been free to download. It's the pop star's first LP since 2012's Unapologetic, and it's following on the heels of Work, the single featuring Drake that she released on Wednesday. Rihanna has a $25 million deal with electronics giant Samsung to sponsor the album rollout and a subsequent world tour. In sport, girls champions Queen's College are in the final of the school's volleyball championships. On Wednesday at the National Stadium, QC defeated Lodge 25-9, 25-23. In the other semi-final, Foundation beat Combomere 25-21, 23-25, 15-12. The boys' semi-finals will be played on Friday at the same venue. And finally, a Texas mother is offering breastfeeding mothers unusual keepsakes, jewelry made from their own breast milk. Bridget Boudreau, a stay-at-home mom of two, said the idea to create craft from breast milk arose from her love of breastfeeding her sons. The 24-year-old said she created the first piece for herself and soon found herself inundated with requests when she shared photos of her work on Facebook. She said the process involves adding a preservative to the milk and allowing it to sit in the refrigerator for about a week. She said the process turns the milk into a solid that can be shaped and colored. And that's Nation News for Thursday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember to pick up your Weekend Nation on Friday or subscribe to our e-paper.